We long for rest. We long for the kind of deep internal rest that only comes from something God can deliver. And yet we try to get it from so many non-God sources. We tend to stand on an endless catalog of God replacements, or what the Bible calls idolatry. We tend to depend on things infinitely smaller than God to deliver to us what only God can. You're dealing with a difficult situation with one of your children or your spouse or a friend or your mom or your dad. You're in a transition in life and you don't know exactly which direction to go. You're feeling kind of empty. You're feeling kind of alone. Maybe you're getting older and your body isn't working the way that it used to. Whatever it is for you, we tend to kick it into high gear in those moments and try to make things happen on our own, fix things, readjust things, do whatever we have to do to get our sense of security back, our sense of safety back, our sense of significance back, whatever it is. And we know we've lived enough life to know that those are always dead ends. We are always bumping up against the wall of our own weaknesses, our own inabilities to provide for our souls what only God can provide. We're looking for love in all of the wrong places. So when Jesus shouted, "It is finished," from the cross, he was announcing that his work alone can relieve us of the burden that we feel to win, to get ahead, to be on top of everything, to feel secure. That wears us out. It is finished doesn't mean we no longer work. It's not what it means. It is finished means that from now on, we work from safety, not for it. We work from a position of security, not for it. We work from a place of love, not for it. We work from a place of acceptance and approval, not for it. That's what "it is finished" means. It is finished means that everything your soul longs for in the deepest places, everything that your heart craves in the deepest places, have already been delivered to you, free of charge. Those gifts are yours forever. Doesn't mean we no longer work. It means that now when we do work, we don't work to gain acceptance or to gain love or to gain security or to gain significance. We work because we already have those things. In God's economy, God doesn't grant meaning and purpose and security and peace and approval and love on the basis of our work, but on the basis of his work. That's where it comes from. What matters, in other words, is his performance for us, not our performance for ourselves. What matters is not the altar where we pour out the sacrifices of our time and efforts and sweat and accomplishments, but the altar of the cross, where Christ poured out his blood. So when he says, "My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from him. He alone is my rock. He alone is my salvation, my rescue, in other words. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken." Those are some massive words, massive. I find tremendous comfort in those words. This world tends to shake us. People in this world, circumstances in this world, relationships tend to shake us. Uncertainty tends to shake us. David was feeling shaken. He was feeling shaken and stirred. He was feeling a little insecure, threatened, attacked. He was feeling all that stuff. His world didn't feel safe to him. And rather than get to work and try to figure out how to do it on his own, he just finally surrenders, gives up, waves a white flag and says, "My hope is in God. I find rest in God alone." He is my rock. He is my fortress. He is my salvation. There is something, I think it was Charles Spurgeon who said that the sovereignty of God, which is a big Bible word, which just means that God's in complete control of everything. There are no maverick molecules out there. God's in complete control, and Charles Spurgeon said, the sovereignty of God is a soft pillow on which weary saints lay their head. That when it's all said and done, the fact that God is in control, that He is our rock. We don't have to build a rock for ourselves. We are not our rock. God is our rock. God is our rescue. We don't have to rescue ourselves. We don't have to rescue other people. God is our rock. God is our refuge. God is our salvation. Those are huge words when he goes on in verse 5 and says, find rest, O my soul, in God alone. My hope comes from Him. Where does his hope come from? From God. Knowing that God is in control, knowing that God is good, that God is for him. That whether David lives or dies, all things are happening according to God's good plan. That gives him hope. It gives him hope. That even if my enemies kill me, I've lost nothing that I need. Reminds me of the Apostle Paul after being threatened by the Roman emperor, saying, if you don't stop, I'm going to kill you. If you don't stop telling people about Jesus, I'm going to kill you. And what does Paul say? To live is Christ, to die is gain. I mean, there is nothing in this world that can shake a person who isn't afraid to lose. And when you know that God is in control and that He has given you everything you need, you're able to say stuff like Paul, to live as Christ, to die as gain.